because we do record these and put them on YouTube. And so if you miss it or you want to look back at it later, you can have that opportunity. So today we're going to talk about badging. Badging is something that you can do. Yeah, there's no music today. Sad. I don't know what happened. Badging is something that you can do to kind of add an extra level of engagement and an extra level of self-motivation for students. So giving them something to help motivate themselves. Have any of you guys done badging before? I'd love to hear if any of you guys have done anything like that before. Anyone? No? And you can feel free to turn on your mic and talk. Like I said, these are pretty informal. You don't have to stay in the chat. But if you don't want to talk, you don't have to either. I know a colleague and I, my colleague Emily, who's now actually the ITC at Freedom, we were both science teachers together, and we didn't do badging, but we had like a little passport book. So every time a student would master a standard, we would stamp their passport book because we taught earth science. So passports were kind of like it kind of went with the theme of like the world, earth. So every time they mastered a standard, we stamped their passport book through the year. So this is kind of like a similar kind of concept, but doing it digitally. And and looks like Amanda's done that before in history. Passport. Oh, that's cute. That's pretty cute. Yeah, I like that. So I am going to leave my full screen. Let's see. And start talking about badging. Okay. I'm going to put this Wakelet in the chat. So these are all the resources about badging that I'm going to be sharing with you. So Badgr is the tool that is, you can integrate with Canvas to do your badging. It's free, so there's no cost. There is a pro version, but I really don't see any advantages to the pro version for our purposes. The first step that you're going to want to take when you are badging, you want to setting up this badging, actually before you do anything technical, you want to think about how you're going to set up your badges. Like, are you associating with standards, like skills, competencies? You need to think about your system. So when I think about badging and using Canvas, I would assign a badge for each module. So I would set up my modules as my standards and my units or my competencies or my skills, and I would assign a badge to each module. Do any of you guys have any other ideas about that and how you might want to set up badging as like a system before the technical part? Is anyone talking? Am I not hearing anyone? I'm wondering if there's a sound issue. Can someone just say something so I can hear if someone's saying anything?
There's not a sound issue.
Okay. I wanted to make
just
sure.
Quiet.
Well, because my music wasn't working, so I was really concerned that, oh, maybe I'm not hearing anything. Okay.
I think it's a Monday issue.
It's a Monday issue, yeah. I hear that. And now they're decided, I live in a complex, and of course they've decided to mow the lawn right outside my window right now. So it's great. All right, so just kind of think about how you might set up your badging system. A badge per module is probably like the easiest way, because you would put the badge part of Badgr, which is the tool, at the end of the module. The student would just click a button and they get the badge. So if you set up those prerequisites and those requirements in the module, so the requirements in the module make sure students do things in the order that you want them to, and it makes sure that they have to complete them before they can move to the next item. And maybe I should show you what I mean by that in actual Canvas before we get to the Badgr part. So if I'm in my course, let me pick a course. All right, so if I'm going to be in this class and I want to assign something after each module, but I want to make sure my students complete all the stuff in the module before they get the badge. So that is really essential into like doing the badging, because if you don't use the requirements in the module, then they could just skip to the badge at the end. So Here's your modules. You're going to click on the 3 dots on the module header. It's still loading, so it doesn't want to play with me. All right. Here we go. I'm going to click edit. And this is where I would set up the prerequisites and or the requirements. So prerequisites, make sure you have to do another module before this one. But this is the requirements, and that would be you have to do these things in the module in this order and complete them before you can get to the next item. So this is going to be really essential to set up now that we're remote learning, to helping students personalize their learning and self-pace their learning and knowing what to do when you're not there to help them. So if I clicked edit, and now I set the requirements, and it says students must complete all of these requirements. So it doesn't have to be every little item in your module. It can just be, if you just wanted to do badging and you just want it to be based on the summative assessment, you could just have, you know, highlight the summative assessment and that they have to mark it as done, or let me find something that they actually have to do. So an assignment, okay. I just want to have this assignment is what they have to do to get the badge, and they have to submit the assignment, or you can even say score at least. So maybe you want to make sure they have mastery. So maybe you're going to say they have a 60% or higher on that assignment. So they would have to have that done before they could move on to get the badge. So the requirements are pretty essential in setting up the badging. Any questions or comments about that? And feel free to shout them out.
Could you do that based on skill? So like we have historical thinking skills. So you have to master skill A before you move on to skill B.
Yep. So you would you have skill A in one module and skill B in a separate module?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking is, does it have to be separated by module, or can all of the historical thinking skills be in one module? And until you master skill A, you can't move on to skill B.
For the badging, it would have to be in separate modules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you have different badges for different levels of mastery?
You could
In other
definitely.
words, you get one badge for a 60 or better, but you get a different badge if you got an A, if you got a 90 or better.
Right. I think you can set that up. I haven't played with that at all, but I think you could definitely, especially if maybe if you get the 90 or better, it bumps you to another module, which would then give you that that higher level badge.
Okay.
And that could be all that's in the next module. Like it could just be the badge for 90% or better, but you've unlocked that 90% or better module by doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, so think about how you want to set up your badging and then make sure you're using the requirements in your modules. Now, the next part I'm going to show you is all about actually the Badgr program. So the first thing that you're going to need to do, and really I would recommend your ITC to do this so that it would be set up for the whole school. It just takes them like 2 seconds to add the app. They're going to go into their admin settings. They're going to, but that's their own school. And just in case there's any ITCs watching, I'll show you now. And you're going to go to your settings for your school. And you're going to add the app. So you're going to go to apps, and then you're going to look for Badgr. And you'll see there's a lot of Badgrs. So there's different country Badgrs. We, of course, want the US. So you would add this app as the ITC from this space, and then it would be set up for everyone in the whole school. You can do it just for, you know, your account, but I really think it's better done at the whole school level, and then it's ready for everyone. So yeah, so setting it up, that's the first step, adding it as the app. Once you know your ITC is added as an app, it will be in every class that is associated with your subdomain. So remember, again, you need to make sure that your sandbox is connected to your subdomain. And let me show you guys again, if you haven't come to like Camp Canvas or didn't have any of that training, what that means. So that means in your course, you're going to go to your settings of your course. And in your course settings, and so this would be for your sandbox, you want to make sure where it says sub account that it says your school. If it says manually created, or if it says something other than your school, you want to make sure you get in touch with your ITC, ask them, hey, can you put my sandbox in our sub account? That way you have all of the apps that are your ITC is installed for your sandbox. Your hub created courses will already be set up for your school, but this is just for your sandbox if you're playing now until August that you want to make sure this is ready. So you'll see my course is in my sub account, and because I've added Badgr to my school's sub account, I have this link that says badges in all of my courses. If you don't see that, it may be that the badges, when the ITC first installs it, it could be in the navigation at the bottom. So it may just be something like the Zoom that you have to drag up to the top. Are there any questions about that? So first step, have your ITC set it up, and I put those directions in the Wakelet. And again, that Wakelet is right here in the chat. So if you came in a little bit later, there you go. All right, the next step, step 2, is for you to do. And you're gonna go to badgr.com, just like this, and you're going to create an account. And what you definitely need to do, so I'm gonna save and continue, pick the US. You are going to use your Microsoft account to just log in. Save and continue. I've already done it, so I don't really need to sign up, but you'll see that there's a link that says Microsoft. You definitely want to use your Microsoft account. You don't want to use any other thing, because this, remember, is going to be connected to Canvas, so using the same account is important. Any questions about that step? So I'm going to sign in. And my next step is to create an issuer. You as the teacher are the issuer. You're going to be issuing the badges. So that's a pretty simple step. When you log in, you'll see a button that says create issuer. You'll just fill in these fields. I just put my name. I put, the school's website is what I put here, like my school's website. I put my email address, and I just put like, hi, I'm Miss Fielding, yada, yada, yada. And that creates the issuer. You're the person who's going to give the badges. Any questions about that step? All right, cool. So once you've made yourself an issuer, then you're going to start creating your badges. So once you've created yourself as an issuer, you'll see yourself listed here, and you'll just click on yourself. And to create a badge, you're going to click create a badge, and you'll see that I've already made all of these badges for my students. Let's talk about actually making badges and designing badges. The place that I really think is the easiest, and I have linked in the Wakelet, is this website called badge.design. So you can see, you can come over here and you can click your shape of your badge that you want. You can change the colors. So if you have branding for your class, you can just design it in those colors. Now, this is something I actually recommend you kind of do with your students. Like, come up with class colors together. Like, let your students be a part of this kind of part of the process. Like, and then they have some more ownership over it. So, maybe like the first day, part of your icebreaker activity is coming up with class colors. That could be a really nice way to start, like, talking about, like, hey, we're going to use badging, and let's design them together. And then let's also decide what would earn me a badge, and hope your students have some ownership in that, and then it's more meaningful throughout the year. So you can pick your colors for the badge, and then I like to add icons to them, a graphic. So I like to use Noun Project, and Noun Project is probably the best $19 I spend a year, because once you have access to all the icons, you can use them in all your presentations. They make great flashcards. I can put like a folder of all these icons in my classroom, and students can use them for things. Icons are more recognizable than images, other types of images or photos. They're more universal. Like, you think about when you're traveling in a foreign country and you look for the bathroom, you look for that icon, you don't look for the word. And so icons are really great to use in your presentations and in other classroom stuff. They're just more universal than photos. So I would look like, say, a skill. I want to know that they're getting a skill. I'm going to look for graphics that are a skill. See what they come up with. All right, so here, this looks great. Like maybe we're learning, we're in kindergarten and we're learning shapes, okay? So I'm gonna download this as a PNG. Just a side note, if you're one of those crafty people and you use a Cricut or another kind of vinyl cutter, you can download these SVGs and you can cut them out on vinyl. So a couple years ago when we made our podcast studio in our school, we did that. We downloaded these SVGs and cut them out with a Cricut and put them on the wall. So that's another really great option to do with Noun Project. So I'm going to download the PNG. Then I'm going to go back to my badge and I'm just going to drag it up. Okay, and now I have a little picture. And then I want to add some text to it. Okay, add text. All right, here we go. Shape shifter. All right, maybe we're going to Harry Potter, I don't know. All right, shape shifter, that's, oh, drag it there. Oh, why does it doesn't want to stop? My mouse doesn't want to let it go. That's so weird. Okay, I'm going to delete it. Okay, that was fun. All right, so once you have your words, and you can change the color of the text as well. Make it red. This is really ugly. This is not one I would actually design. All right, and then you can just download it as an image. All right, so I'm going to download it. You have to just put your email in, and then it will let you download the image. Easy peasy. Any questions about designing badges?
Can you make them in Canva and then import them?
Yeah, you totally can also make them in Canva. Yep. So I had this pulled up too. You can design them here as well. So either case, you're going to download it as that PNG file. That's a type of image file. Yep. I just like this one because it's kind of, as much as I love Canva, I kind of think this is easier and kind of like they're just, I just kind of like their options. So all kinds of options. All right, so once you've downloaded your image to the computer, you're going to go back to Badgr. And this is where you're going to create a badge. So you're going to drop the file that you created here. So let's just say, oh, this is just an image. Oh, well, I don't need myself as a badge. That's weird. Okay, I'm just going to use just that as the image. All right, so that would be my badge. Put the name for the badge, shape, shifter. Short description, I can identify shapes. Okay. And then you can put what's required for this badge. You don't necessarily have to put anything there. And then you're just going to put the criteria URL. And what that is your course URL. So right up here, that URL for your course, you're just going to copy it and you're going to go back and paste it. You can also do things like adding alignment of standards. You can tag them with things, and you can make them have expiration dates. And then all you have to do is click Create Badge, and your badge is now created in Badgr. Questions about that step in the process? We're good? All right. Once you have all your badges made that you want, like I would probably set them up kind of at the beginning if you could, then you'll just go back to Canvas and you're going to add them to each module. Let me show you what you're going to do. So the first thing you'll probably need to do is to click on the badges link that you'll see in the classroom after your ITC's added it, and you'll log into your account. So this won't all be here at first. It will be like a login page, and you'll basically connect your account to Canvas. Then you'll see that it will pull in all of the names of the modules that are in your course. It will auto-generate that and pull that information in. And then you'll be able to associate one of your badges with it. So they'll have all the badges that you've created, and you'll just associate that badge with that module. And you'll see that the type is complete a module. So you'll get that for completing a module. And so now you've tied that badge to that module. The next step is to add it to your module. So you'll go over to your module and
Katie?
you will, yeah.
Is the only option to complete a module, or can we link it to like a specific assignment?
I haven't played with that, so I don't know exactly, but I imagine that yes, you could make it a specific assignment. I'll look and find out more later. I'll get back to you. Who asked that question?
Erin Merrill.
Okay, all right. All right, so after you've associated the badges in the badges view, okay, then you're gonna go over to modules, and this is where you're gonna add in your Badgr, the thing basically the student will click on. So you'll click on the plus sign for the module header, and you're gonna add external tool, and you'll see Badgr is listed there. So you'll click Badgr, it will populate the link, and then you'll just add the item. And now at the bottom of your module, you'll see it will say submit badge evidence, and your student will see that. When they click on it, they'll just have to check a box, and then they get the badge. Because they haven't, you know, by setting up those requirements, they won't get here until you have, they've gone through those requirements to get to that box. You'll see I don't have a badge set up for this module, so actually that's not working. Let me go to one that I've already set up. Delete this just so I don't accidentally forget about it. Remove. Let's see, here I have one, a real one. So you'll see a student will see this box and they'll just check the box and they'll get the badge. Pretty simple. So if you set up those requirements, there's really no evidence for them to submit at that point. And that's badging. You can also, and this is where you can kind of gamify your classroom, you can also set up a leaderboard. So when you come back to this page, the Badgr link, you'll see that it says leaderboard. You can turn that on, so I've enabled it. And so students they'll see an alias name if you've turned that on. So I don't have name sharing, I just have it so that they're gonna see the alias on their side. And you'll see that, oh, how many badges they've gotten compared to the rest of their classmates. You can also view progress just in general of all your students under the progress tab. Yeah, so yeah, questions, comments, ideas?
So is the only place that they'll see the badges if they click on badges on the sidebar?
If they click on badges, yeah. And they should see it then in the bottom of their module, they'll see their badge.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you can also see, where was it? Yeah, enable badge sharing. So if you do that, they can share it like out on Twitter, they can share it other places on social media and share. Other questions or ideas?
Do the kids know their alias?
The kids won't know they may, I have no idea if they know their alias. Maybe it will tell them who they are, or maybe it will just say, this is you. I'm not actually 100% sure.
So is the alias generated by Badgr, or do we generate the alias?
It's generated by Badgr. Yep. Yep, you don't have to do anything for that. Let me see if I can go into student view and what that would look like. Test student, I don't know what it will look like for the test student, because you know the external tools don't always work for that test student, but let's just see. Okay, let's see, badges. All right, so they'll see their progress. So they'll see any badges, they're gray right now because they haven't earned them, but they would be, you know, colorized if they had earned them. And then they can look at the leaderboard and you'll see, they just see the alias name. It's grayed out so they can't share their real name, but they can share their board details with someone. So, yeah. So that's nice to be able to see. Any other questions?
Katie, do you have to create badges or can you steal them from somewhere else?
What do you mean? Like, I mean, You
went
can
in.
find an image anywhere, but you do have to create the badge that you're assigning.
Okay.
Yeah. Other questions?
So Katie, there's no way that like a team can share badges that have made. Each teacher on a team would have to go through this with Badgr.
Yeah, they could design the badging system together, but each person would need to do it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Katie, if we put the badge PNG files in files and then shared that, would that come across?
Yeah, but you don't want to share your files with students in that way.
No, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
was thinking teachers.
Oh, yeah. You could, yes. If you were sharing files, I would do it in OneDrive or something like that. Yeah, more likely.
Do students have a way to create a page of their own? I was just trying to think of some sort of like badge display board. Or can teachers only make pages?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I mean, they can share their badges.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming they could right click and save an image of the badge and put it somewhere. Yeah. I wouldn't think that wouldn't be impossible. Any other questions?
So do you see sharing, do you see like badging, we talked about modules and assignments possibly. Well, never mind. I'm going to Google this. Probably the best approach to badging for in elementary.
Yeah.
But I could see this could be a great incentive.
Yeah, I think it's nice and it's free and it's built in. Like it will automatically do it for you if you just set it up with the modules.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty nice.
I've already got it set up. I'm just for our school. I'm just trying to think of how
to implement it.
Yeah. I mean, like, so maybe everybody completes just a completion of a module, no matter at what level, whether they've mastered it or they've just, they're not quite there yet or whatever. So just thinking through for the different grade levels, what that would look like. But this is a great idea.
Yeah.
I love badges myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's something they could put in their little email signature.
I guess they could have it, they could put it in their portfolio too, if they made up a portfolio. I don't know about kindergartners having a portfolio, but maybe, maybe 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I think even just for littles, then it's just kind of fun for them to get a badge. Like,
yes.
It's taking it out of like, I mean, it's still kind of like a reward system like a grade is, but it's just like less letter focused. Like everyone gets it if they master it, Everyone's on the same, I got the badge too. It doesn't like, it's not, I got a C, I got an A. It's, I got the badge. And then it's kind of, it's equal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like a sticker in the lowest grades. Everybody gets a sticker if they do something. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and there are a couple ITCs here. I use these obviously for PD stuff. So this is my class workroom. And so those badges that I showed, those were like badges my teachers have earned by doing some modules this summer, optionally.
I offered it too. It was interesting. Some teachers were really into it and then others weren't. So, it just depends. But I would say most were really into it. And for myself, I was doing, back before Canvas had Badgr, they had whatever the other one was. Can't think of the name of it now. I was doing PD with them and they started giving those. And I was like, well, you are going to transfer my badges over to Badgr, right?
Oh, was
when
it
you shift to
Credly?
Badgr. Yeah,
I think
Credly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing Credly. I was like, gosh, I sound a little ridiculous. So, but they said, oh no, we're transferring everyone's Credly,
nice.
over to Badgr. I was like, okay, fine then.
I put the attendance in the chat. So if you have to go, that is there. So go ahead and you can get your little certificate like David and hang it on your wall next week.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. I wondered I thought that was
he made his virtual background his wall of certificates.
I was going to say, that's a cool virtual background. I like it. Okay.
Made
thank you.
my morning, David.
I'm glad somebody's happy.
I'm going to stop recording so it stays short on the internet.